Oh, that's right. I watched your reaction to the whole thing on the website, and I noticed you completely glossed over M5 Vision Pro.
I didn't see it on Apple's website. They didn't put it.
It was there.
They did not put it on the.
It was there.
They did not put it on the top of the website, and they did also. No one was talking about it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Ted Maggart from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And we have 24 topics to get started with today. So why don't we get started with the first one, which is the Idiot Award, which, in case you don't know, are awards we give out to our dumbest YouTube comments. But let me see who's getting the Idiot Award this time. Oh yeah, it's I believe this one. So this is on my. Hang on, let me pull it up on my iPad. I always forget that I should show my iPad for the video listeners. But let me go to YouTube discussion. Scroll up. This time it's not quite as far back. Oh yeah, I got. Okay, so this right here is a commenter that says hi. I have a 4S. But unfortunately, the home button doesn't work. The one I got is refurbished and still not up to quality. So it kind of still downgrade with this method. And this is on a downgrade tutorial for the iPhone 4. Now, sure. Hang on, let me grab them. Sure, the iPhone 4 and... That's 4. Sure, the iPhone 4 and 4S may look almost identical to somebody who doesn't know the differences, even though there are small differences here with the antenna bands and the model numbers. And this is the standard GSM worldwide variant I have, not the CDMA variant without a SIM card. And the antenna bands of the 4S, but that's aside the point, but I have to look at the model numbers to figure out which is which. Because yeah, the iPhone 4 and 4S can be hard to tell apart sometimes. They're still they're not the same phone. Which like in downgrading for reference, like even if you have different variants of the same phone can make a huge difference. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, like asking for a 4S in the title C, clearly says 4. That's classic case. I've constantly got tutorials where they ask if it works on other devices, even though the title doesn't say so. But that's another Idiot Award. I guess we'll have to actually have an Idiot Award winner at the end of this year, maybe.
Yeah,
but that's gonna be hard to decide. But I guess we should get started for the next topic. Which, remember in our last episode we were talking about how my iPhone 17 Pro kept getting delayed, and we were worried that was going to get delayed again.
Well, especially after some certain news that happened last week.
Yeah.
Which, not totally relevant to
No.
the channel, so I don't... Not totally relevant to the show, so we're not going to go into that.
No.
This is not a political podcast, and so we'll just keep it at that, but... To my surprise, I actually thought you were not going to be getting that thing anytime soon, and at that point I was like, dude, just cancel it.
And looky here.
No, he got it!
I got it. I got it on Tuesday, and first of all, this thing smudges like crazy on the back. Like, it smudges a little bit more than most iPhone phones, and yes, this thing is
Well, not only does it smudge like crazy, it also scratches like crazy,
yeah,
I hear.
Oh, I gotta put it back in its case before it scratches.
Yeah.
Because of the price hike, but yeah. This is just an ESR case I have on mine.
Yeah, dude, I love ESR cases. I've been using Surich for like 5 years until they didn't make one for the 16 Pros, and well, I also got my ESR wallet, and so I figured, all right, I'll switch to ESR. And the only difference that I'm not too sure if I like or not is with the Surich cases, they had cutouts for the individual front-facing camera sensors, like the camera and the IR, all that stuff. They had like individual cutouts for all of that. So in theory, it'd be easier to clean because, I mean, when it comes to my other plastic screen protector on my ESR case, it does not have that. It is completely covering this whole dynamic island. So,
Yeah, mine basically covers it all except for the front camera, but of course mine doesn't have an integrated one since the ESR doesn't sell those for the iPhone 17 line, so...
yeah, that's right.
But that's beside the point. But overall, I can say is that this iPhone is very ugly, and I mean it's an okay phone. I mean iOS 26 is okay. I mean it's not anything that spectacular, but it's not too horrible either. But the only thing I do, but this is a massive complaint I have with the iPhone 17 Pro, which drives me nuts. So remember how the switch to aluminum was supposedly going to make the iPhone 17 Pro have better thermal conductivity?
Well, you found out just how great that thermal conductivity is.
So basically, the aluminum housing is turned into a heatsink itself, and for those of you who don't know what a heatsink does, it makes the aluminum part hot. So in other words, this phone is now feeling so much hotter in my hands. So it's basically it's not being trapped in the phone, which I guess is better for it, but it's not but the heat is still going.
Yeah, it's better for the chip that it's keeping the heat away from it. It's just not that great from a user experience perspective.
No, which I mean for most average Joe use cases, I mean it's not that. I mean again, the iPhone's cooling systems weren't exactly that dire of a need for an upgrade in the first place, and they still could have I don't know, maybe not used an aluminum on the back to help make it not feel hot to the touch. Just saying.
Well, the biggest reason why you're noticing it, especially on this, instead of something like let's take the MacBook Air, for example. That laptop is completely fanless. The only thing that is cooling that chip, I kid you not, is the chassis itself.
Yep.
But the reason why you don't notice it on the MacBook Air is because it has a lot more aluminum surface area to work. It's got a lot more material to soak up that heat, and also due to the fact that it has a lot more surface area, that's what allows that heat to dissipate faster. The iPhone, on the other hand, has nowhere near as much aluminum as a MacBook Air, and as a result, when the processor gets warm, it doesn't have as big of a heat sink to absorb all that heat. So that's why you feel that phone getting hot so fast and why it feels so hot in the first place.
Exactly. And I mean, overall, this thing still feels kind of heavy in the hand. It's not, I mean, maybe it's just a tad bit lighter than my iPhone 14 Pro, but I haven't noticed any weight differences from the aluminum either. So the change really...
My guess probably has to do with the vapor chamber. The vapor chamber does add some weight.
But I mean,
it's actual water. Water's not as light as people think it is.
No, I know water's not. Wait a second. Oh no. Apple. Oh no, we're gonna have another. In 20 years, I'm gonna have another Power Mac G5 incident. So, do you know if the Power Mac G5's water cooling on some of the higher end configurations?
Really? I did not know that.
Do you know why Macs don't have water cooling now?
I always thought it just had something to do with design.
Nope. It's because
to do water cooling in a computer like that, it takes up a lot of space. I should know. I built one. So.
Well, the problem is that, now granted, this isn't going to matter to the average Joe, because most average Joes don't keep their devices for this long, but this is going to matter to me, and this could potentially be an issue further down the road, but the problem is that on Power Mac G5s on the higher end configuration that have the water cooling, the water coolant had a tendency to leak onto components like the power supply and all over the logic board.
Oh.
So
wow, that's some incompetence.
And this was Apple back in 2003, mind you, when they actually cared. So how do you think? So I'm just now I know the vapor changer uses water. I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm gonna have to keep it close.
It's not. I will say it's not a lot of water.
No.
It's not a lot.
I know it's.
But like.
I know it's not.
Why do you think it's called a vapor chamber?
Yeah. I suppose that makes sense now that I think about it. But I mean, the water. I mean, I know it's not a lot of water, but still, I'm just. And I know they actually make iPhones water resistant now, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, still.
I want to say they've learned a lot about sealing devices. You can take that however you like, but no, they've learned a lot about water resistance to the point where like IP68. When was that officially?
2018 on the iPhone.
Yeah, that came with the XS Max and 10R, right?
Just the 10.
I don't think the 10 had it.
No, it was just the XS and XS Max that had it for first, and eventually trickled down to standard iPhones.
Oh, okay. But, I mean, yeah, they've learned a lot about water resistance over the past how many years? And as a result, if they have learned so much in keeping things sealed up, I mean, the biggest thing that they got to be careful with is that the processor does not get hot enough to the point where it's melting the glue that seals everything shut.
Yeah, they are better. They do actually give proper coding to elements. So I'll give Apple credit. They are a lot better at sealing up devices, but still, that'll be a pro. The coolant will be a problem with future me. So when I'll probably have kids. So.
But I mean, we've had vapor chamber cooled phones for years. This really is not a new concept. I mean
I know.
So it really is not all that new.
I know it's not, but I mean, it'll be interesting but also, I also don't think the phones that have vapor chambers have gotten quite old enough yet to have the water coolants leak. So there's that.
So. Yeah, I've never even heard a news story in regards to, the vapor chamber in a smartphone failed and destroyed the whole phone. I have never heard anything like that, at least, so.
If that'll happen, that'll probably happen. It's gonna be probably another few good 8, I would say maybe. How long has Samsung had vapor chambers?
It was either, I don't exactly remember, but part of me wants to say it was around the S10 days, but another part of me says maybe a little sooner with the Note series. Maybe they had it in the Note series first, just a little earlier.
Okay. So either way, hang on, let me grab it because I actually do have an S10. But the S10 is still only 6. The S10 is still at this point only 6 years old, so it's not old. So it would have to. So it's gonna be another close to. It's gonna be around another decade before we actually start seeing these vapor chambers explode. But it's like nickel metal hydride batteries, because you're not. Because when those devices were all those devices of nuclear, or with nickel metal hydride batteries, when they were all new, no one cared about the fact that they would burst all over devices and destroy them, because that was not relevant. But of course, we all know what happened to devices using nickel metal hydride batteries now, especially those computers that use those clock batteries.
Yep. So, other than that, how's the phone?
Oh, it's decent. It's not. It's decent to use.
Yeah, there's not too much to talk about. It's another iPhone upgrade, and at least from my perspective, in the wrong direction once again.
Exactly. But shall we move on to more Stardust updates?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is probably going to get more expensive than I thought.
Please explain.
So, the dealer is... I'll give them credit in the fact that because they know that the car is not safe to drive, they are refusing to give it back to me. But at the same time, it's just... I'm getting all nervous in the fact that this car has basically been in the shop for roughly 5 weeks now. And
dang. Because there's been some weeks I haven't recorded,
nobody still has any idea what keeps causing it. And it doesn't help that the issue is sporadic. It's not consistent. So... But, yeah, the current update is... They're going to start looking into my gear selector, I guess. Because, you know, when you put the car into drive or reverse, like, whenever you take the car out of park, it automatically locks the doors.
Makes sense.
So, they're going to start inspecting that system to see if they can find anything weird and wonky with it. The thing that I'm hoping for is that it does not involve the transmission, because if that transmission gets involved, that's going to be... We're going to instantly jump up to like $5,000+.
I'm starting to smell insurance being necessary. Not literally, but I'm starting to get that idea that insurance will have to get involved.
The only way that insurance would get involved is if the cost of this repair exceeds the value of the car.
You're gonna... If the transmission has to get involved, you might just have to go out and buy a Tesla at that point, because $5,000, I mean, that is kind of steep. That is steep, I should say.
Yes, it is. Except I don't think I can make that work right now due to... For one, I have to get the car back repaired according to policy. And it's primarily because the issue at hand is safety related. And because it is safety related, their policy, they can't give it back to me until like this issue is resolved. So I can't just take it back, sell it, and try to get any last bit of money I can, because again, I got the whole loan going on, and it would really suck trying to sell a car with a safety problem like that, because at that point that makes me look really bad.
That's okay. Those are all valid points.
And so, yeah, the truth is the only way the car would be getting replaced is if insurance decides to total it, simply because it is currently in a state that is not safe to drive.
If insurance decides to total a car?
When a car is the technical term for a car being totaled goes as follows. The cost of the repair, the cost to fix it, exceeds the value of the car. It would cost more to fix it than to just replace it and junk it. That is what it means to total a car.
But I still don't think the car is worth more than... I still would highly doubt that your car is worth more than the transmission repair.
I doubt that too, and I'm hoping that's the case. But if that's the case, then I'm out a lot of money. I don't have $5,000 to drop right now. Like, nowhere near it. And so, I really hope it does not come to that.
Otherwise, you'll be in deep trouble because you don't have that kind of money, and yet you have to pay it.
I'd have to take out another loan, which, I mean, thankfully my credit's looking pretty good right now, but I'd like to try to avoid taking out any more loans than necessary. So, but no, I am in a complete pickle with Stardust right now. I bought this car in theory to be a placeholder, a stopgap. That's the word I'm looking for. A stopgap between Red Fox and the Tesla, because obviously Red Fox was not going to go on any longer in her current condition, especially considering that my driving habits have increased massively. I only put like, I'll say 5,000-ish miles on Red Fox in my entire ownership of that car. Yeah, I'm doing 12,000 miles a year on Stardust. There was no way Red Fox would be able to handle that. Just nothing. So that's one of the ultimate reasons why I bought Stardust. It's because I needed something to function as a stopgap between Red Fox and the Tesla. That's what I mentioned in my plan back when I bought the car. But if it ends like this, that will be a major setback. It'll be a massive setback.
Especially because this is not the first massive series of repairs you had to do to the car.
Well, last time it was under warranty. And in part, it's what happens when you buy a UP car. It's because they salt the roads as much as they do up here, it just eats them away, and there's nothing you can do about it except move out of here. And so, on one hand, I can't blame the car too much for that because it's lived up here most of its life, which means it's got the UP salt problem and corrosion everywhere. And thankfully, I bought that thing under warranty. But that warranty has since expired. And honestly, I don't think this issue can be blamed due to UP corrosion just yet.
Yeah.
So, I'm getting nervous. I'm really uncomfortable with the situation going on right now. Every time I drive the tracks, it is just a reminder of my problem with Stardust. I mean, at least this time, the tracks is a lot better to drive than that Acadia. It was just way too big of a car for me, way too big for what I needed. But I don't know, I just want my car back, and I want this whole thing to be done with. I just want to stop stressing over it. I stress over enough things as is. I don't need this to add to my list of things to be stressed about. Because it's week 5 now. It's week 5, and we still don't know why it's doing what it's doing.
Well, do you have anything more to say about these updates, or shall I go ahead and move on to the 2025 14-inch MacBook Pro?
Yeah, we can talk about some Apple stuff now. I don't want to talk about the tracks until like the very end because the tracks is something different.
Well, also we've already kind of talked about that on the show, so
Well, there's more to talk. There's more that I wanted to discuss about the tracks, but I'd rather save that for later. So.
All right. Well.
Yeah, let's just move on.
So the 2025 14-inch MacBook Pro it's not even the real MacBook Pro, so I don't even understand why this computer exists. But one thing that I used to one thing that I hate about the M1, M2 line MacBook Pros is how they released the base model first, and then they would do the actual Pro models a few months later. And I hate how Apple's doing that again with the M5.
Well, I've always thought beforehand this M5 MacBook Pro is completely unnecessary. This the base M anything MacBook Pro is completely unnecessary. I can't recommend that laptop to anyone.
Exactly.
It has legit no purpose.
Exactly. All you get is all you really get at this point is a fan. So yeah, it's a horrible at this point. At least with the M2 line, you could argue that still the touch. At least with the M1, M2, you could argue that still the touch bar. So it was.
True. That was the only thing that kept its value. Just those who cared about the touch bar, even if it's for a small customer base. But the problem with this current base M MacBook Pros is it's the base M chip. Which means, for one, it's not meant for people who care about performance. So if that's the case,
it's not a pro laptop.
They're just gonna buy a MacBook Air, because we've discussed this for years. Apple's M series of chips is completely overkill for average Joes, and at that point, they shouldn't be buying MacBook Pro. The MacBook Airs are amazing as they are, both 13 and 15-inch.
Exactly, and that's really all I have to say about the M5 Mac Pro, since Apple didn't really since this is a very minor upgrade. But shall I go ahead and move on to the 2025 iPad Pro?
Oh yeah, did you see my short about that, by the way?
Yep, yeah, I did. That's how I accidentally found out about the next topic.
Oh, you didn't realize? Oh, that's right. I watched your reaction to the whole thing on the website, and I noticed you completely glossed over M5 Vision Pro.
I didn't see it on Apple's website.
Idea it was
They didn't put it.
It was there.
They did not put it on the.
It was there.
They did not put it on the top of the website, and they did also. No one was talking about it, so yeah.
I mean, that for one. That's how much people care about Vision Pro.
Yeah.
But no, it was there. I will show you. Let me pull it up on my iPad.
Yeah, I know it's there now
because I didn't change the site.
I did look at the web page, so I know that the M5 Vision Pro.
But yeah, started off MacBook Pro. We scroll down to, oops. I did not mean to tap that. Start off at MacBook Pro. We scroll down to iPad. Yeah, they put the 17 Pro in the way. Right here. M5 Vision Pro. It's right here.
What stupid website design. You know that for the first couple days, all people want to look at is the new products, or most of it. But yeah, that's beside the point. But getting back to the 2025 iPad Pro, it's a solid upgrade if you want an iPad Pro. It just has overkill hardware for the software. It's incapable software, like we've discussed with time and time again, but that's really all I have to say about the 2025 iPad Pro.
I mean, the thing is, why should I care when ultimately it is still plagued by the same problems? I sound like such a broken record because I've been saying this for years. Everyone's been saying this for years. It doesn't matter what Apple does with the iPad Pros at this point. It legit doesn't matter until they give us pro software to take advantage of that hardware.
Exactly.
And so, exactly like I said in my short, why should I care about any of these hardware upgrades if we've never have the software to take advantage of it?
Yeah.
And so, Yeah, there legitimately is nothing to say. I mean, oh, cool! It now has Apple's custom wireless modems with N1 and C1X. It's got all that stuff now, I guess. But it's like they're not even that great performers. Last I checked.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not bad, but they're nothing to write home about. And so, like, what's the big deal here? I'm really struggling to figure out why I should care about this.
Exactly, and speaking of stuff that I don't know why I should care about, the second generation Vision Pro, aka the M5 Vision Pro, Apple completely missed the mark since the Pro. Okay, I guess the chip wasn't my problem, but they didn't change the battery pack to be. They didn't change it. They didn't change the price point. They didn't change the design to make it more comfortable. And they didn't do anything.
Well, actually, they did release a new head strap.
Okay, they did that, but they didn't really do. But they did not do enough. But again, that's not the problem. The problem is the concept itself, which is just that it's not necessary. But we've discussed that in so many
Yes.
episodes, so.
Even then, like, just lower the price.
Exactly, but
They clearly want this thing to sell. It's just the target market for I legit can't think of anyone who would pay $3,500 for a headset like this and be like, yeah, it's worth it. Totally recommend to like, no. No, you can get a really nice 16-inch MacBook Pro for that money. And I mean, like, really, really nice. Because 16-inch MacBook Pros start at $2,500. $1,000 less than this thing.
And that thing is going to be
in the double storage too.
And that MacBook Pro is going to be so much more capable than a Vision Pro, but I guess that's really all I have to say about that. So shall I move on to Apple discontinuing the Clips app?
I'm okay with this. I am legit okay with this.
I mean, the Clips app, first of all, it never worked in landscape mode, so there was that, but I'm actually, hang on, I think I have the Clips app on my iPad. I know I have it on my iPad 7th generation. Let me see if I have it on this iPad mini. Before I go.
I'm pretty sure I deleted it off my phone.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I deleted it off my phone.
I have it on my iPad mini 7.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah, I never got rid of it, but
does my iPad have it?
What basically is it's
oh yeah, but my iPad does have it.
It's basically like a shorts creator. It's basically kind of like a what the Clips app is basically like a video recorder. It's basically like it's basically like a very very basic video editor, like more basic than iMovie, which I get that, but at the same time, if you really want to get into making if you're gonna make
really redundant.
If you're gonna make cringy videos and you're gonna just use the inbuilt video editors of the apps you use, like TikTok, or else you'll just But if you're serious and you're just gonna use iMovie, so
I've always found the Clips app to be redundant, and this is going back years and years ago.
Same.
Because I remember unboxing my iPod Touch for the first time. That was my first Apple device with full-fledged iOS. I looked at the Clips app and I'm like, why are you here? This is what the camera's for. This is what iMovie's for. Why are you here?
Exactly. It's like having a million services that do the same thing. Google.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse. A million services that do the same thing, or a million services with the same name that doesn't do the same thing.
Oh! That's a great segue into our next topic.
I actually didn't realize that was the next topic, but yeah, that is like the perfect segue.
So Apple TV Plus has been rebranded to Apple TV. So now we have Apple TV, the streaming service, Apple TV, the app that includes integration of lots of streaming services, Apple TV, hang on, let me grab it. Apple TV, the box.
Yep.
You see any problems with this? It's like
I mean, it's just like MacBook Pro.
it's just like what
Which one?
it's just like whatever the iPad Pro's new display technology is, because they came up with another BS marketing name for that.
Yeah.
Let me look it up really quickly. More, I don't care about a.
Sometimes I wonder if Apple doesn't get the point of names. The point of it is, I don't know, to help customers differentiate different products in their lineup.
Exactly. Oh, it's the Ultra display. It's Ultra Retina XDR. It's not Super
That
Retina.
means absolutely nothing.
It's
to me
not
at this
Super
point.
Retina XDR anymore. It's Ultra Retina XDR. I used to think that Apple's display names actually meant something back in 2018, but now I understand they don't.
Now they're just a joke. They're just a joke.
Retina means something,
Yes,
but
I
after
mean-
that, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Linus has been under a lot of hot water as of late due to his takes on various Apple products, but I will give him credit for this. This is one take that I 100% agree with. MacBook Pro, which one?
Same, I totally agree. But speaking of Apple's marketing, this is a perfect segue into our next topic, which is very good news.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice this.
Let me double check this really quickly, but on the Mac Mini and Apple Watch, Apple was forced to remove the carbon neutral branding. So if I go to Mac Mini.
Oh, they were forced to remove it.
From
Wow, that's interesting.
From a lawsuit, yeah. Because I can't get it down right now because it would involve way too much, but. Yeah, they redid the marketing for the Mac. Yep, they were forced to remove the carbon neutral branding due to a lawsuit, partially because carbon neutrality is impossible.
Yeah, that should be obvious, but unfortunately, it's not.
I wonder what will happen in 2030 once all these once carbon neutrality doesn't happen.
Well, that'll first depend on who's in office. But again, this is not a politics show.
I mean, I was talking about
I always hate discussing this.
I meant what would happen to the publicity of these companies. Like, I'm not talking actual lawsuits, because we all know that depends on who's in office.
What do you mean by the publicity?
I mean, like, I wonder if people would start calling these companies out on social media and such for being, hey, where this carbon neutrality.
I mean, haven't we been doing that for a while and calling out their BS on that?
That's true.
So
People are probably they're probably gonna make people forget the carbon neutrality goal ever existed, kind of like how the environmentalists did with the. So, do you know how in the 1980s how environmentalists pushed the fear of the ozone layer disappearing, and how it suddenly magically reappeared?
yeah, I remember bits of that.
So it's the new thing for the environmentalists.
I always hate discussing this topic because, for one, like, when I discuss this type of stuff, I sound like, oh, I am
uneducated.
Let's keep the earth clean, like that. The truth is, there's a lot of environmental stuff that I do legit actually care about. Like, recycling programs. Ahem! Michigan, I'm looking at you. Yeah, let's just say my state has very terrible recycling programs to the point where you pay more to recycle than to just throw it out. It's legit that bad. But yeah, I do care about recycling. I hate seeing trash left on the side of the road and that type of stuff. I'm not a fan of littering. So it's like, the truth is, I'm all for keeping the planet clean, be it the waters, the forests, the air. I'm not totally against it. I don't know why anybody should be. But I think the problem is some people take it to too much of an extreme. And this is where the giant disconnect between me, who's for, I don't like polluting the air. We breathe this stuff. It's not good for us or anyone else. Or clean water is very important. It's a necessity for life. So it's like, as I do care about this type of stuff, the problem is too many people take this to an extreme, and now when I discuss trying to be real about the situation, it frames me as anti-environmentalist and someone who wants to poison the earth or whatever. It's like, there's no middle ground on this, and I hate discussing this type of stuff.
Same.
As a result.
That's
because on one hand, the carbon neutrality thing, that is taken too far. I'm sorry. It's not realistic.
Exactly. Why don't these environmentalists do more to try to remove all the littering?
Yeah, it'd be nice to have cleaner streets. Like, when I went to Milwaukee, there's trash everywhere. That's not... I mean, no, it's not good environment for animals, of course, but I mean, it's an environment that we still exist in, is it not?
Yeah, it's bad. It also just makes the cities look worse, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like graffiti.
I'd also like to point out something with, car air pollution and such. We've come a long way for cleaning up the air from cars emitting their emissions, thanks to catalytic converters. I don't think they get enough love.
That's true.
Because, when you think of it, most of what's coming out of the tailpipe, it's still not necessarily great for you. I wouldn't, breathe in that exhaust. It's just a dumb idea. But thanks to catalytic converters, they've removed a lot of the real harmful stuff that causes, smog and acid rain. It's awesome technology that makes our gas cars a lot less environmentally, deadly.
And when in recent times have we... And I haven't heard of any recent cases of smog or acid rain.
The only time I heard of it is primarily in China.
Oh, I meant
where they have.
I meant here in the United States, because I know in China it's
oh yeah.
These companies claim to be environmentally friendly. Also, often produce in countries with the highest pollution rates in the world, like India and China.
Yeah, that's another point.
Which are nowhere near eco-friendly countries. In fact. My dad knows
they aren't anywhere close.
My dad knows someone that went to China, and when he went there, he said the air was orange from all the pollution.
Mm-hmm. That's the smog. And
another reason why this actually makes me think of something else. I wonder if a lot of American companies choose to produce in China so that way they don't have to focus on the eco-friendly regulations of factories here in the States.
That might have some impact, especially depending on where the government politics high up lead, or where they tend to lean. So
I mean, I know that's not the main reason.
I'm sure that has some impact. but no. No, the primary reason is because, dude, it's cheaper. It's legit cheaper to produce in China than here.
Well, it's not as cheap to produce in China anymore Mexico.
Yeah, not anymore.
Mexico has cheaper labor.
Not what we're supposed to be commenting on.
Because Mexico has cheaper labor now than in terms of other issues, like because of Chinese labor strikes and whatnot. Mexico's labor is now like 3 times cheaper, if not more than that, cheaper. So
that's because in part their money's hardly worth anything.
yeah, but China. What also helps China is that they practically managed to keep such a stranglehold on rare earth minerals. So
yeah. Either way, let's get off of that topic before we get canceled.
how about we move on to Microsoft removing workarounds for creating local accounts in Windows 11 in an attempt to force more users to create Microsoft accounts?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to mark this episode explicit.
You don't have to swear about
and this is why.
Alpha!
I didn't say anything!
Alpha, I never said you... Alpha, you... We didn't have to give Microsoft the middle finger.
Nah, I think they deserved it.
I mean, the problem is that they're not
deserved
making it worth it to create a Microsoft account. The problem is that they need to make it
No, they have
actually worth it. But Microsoft doesn't understand what making anything that's actually worth it is.
Notice the silence, everyone.
Exactly. Do you have anything other than the fact that this other than the fact that Microsoft making it there are more users sign up for accounts is other than the fact that that's clearly asinine behavior. They're making Windows feel like a prison, but shall we get out of Microsoft's prison and move on to Sony?
I'm trying to figure out where we are in this list. Oh, it's PS6. Yeah, that's a Sony thing. Yep.
So Sony has officially teased PS6 and in an interview with one of the Sony executives, and he has stated that they are working on the PS6 to have improved graphics with ray tracing.
And
Doesn't make these games worth my time, but
I mean, if you are a gamer, I can see why you could care about this.
Same.
But because I'm not, it's not really who I am. Again, the only console that I've really cared about is just the Wii. And so I have a hard time getting on board with any of these other consoles with their standard joystick style controllers where you sit and scrunch and you're messing with the there is no appeal in that to me.
Same.
And so while if you are a gamer, yes, this would be pretty cool news for you. But if you're not, it's like why care? Why it's just yeah, I don't care, but that's not because it's a Sony problem, it's a me problem.
Same. But shall we move on to Audacity 4?
Oh yeah, didn't you used to use Audacity in the early days of this
Yes, I did. So, in the very early days of the iTunes Fan podcast, before I realized that you could just export video files to be audio, I think this is actually up until Alpha took over in October 2022. Yeah, I used to use Audacity to record the audio, and then QuickTime to record the video. Well, wait a second. No, wait. Initially, I used QuickTime to record both the video and audio on my. Hang on, let me grab it. My 2014 MacBook Air for the first couple episodes. But then, once I got my 2019 MacBook Pro, Apple had made it when on QuickTime you couldn't record both video and audio, so I had to switch to using Audacity to record the audio. And this is before I realized you could export videos to be on just audio files, but I have since But I've luckily realized that. What am I trying to say here? I've realized, but Audacity, we did.
You learned that you could export audio from video files in iMovie.
Yeah, but it's not just that, because we actually did a ramble on Audacity back in 2022 for being kind of outdated, because they didn't even update the icon for the macOS Yosemite redesign in 2014. It was still not updated for the Big Sur redesign, but the icons has been updated. I mean, it at least looks a little bit more modern now, and I mean they
had the audacity to finally update their logo.
That's true.
I had to.
They actually did upgrade to look.
I was sitting on that one for a while.
They had some pretty cool mix. They did add some pretty cool features to it. I don't know audio really, so I don't know any off the top of my head. But at least they updated it. So
yeah, that's good news to hear. Now, is it any good? Because I remember having so many issues due to Audacity. Back in the early days when I was trying to edit this, like, oh, you keep losing your Audacity file. I'm like, I don't need it. I just use your video. But yeah, I just remember the days back when you had so many Audacity issues.
Yeah. I didn't. Again, I didn't exactly play around with iMovie features enough to know about that, but now I know. Yeah, it was actually a big issue back then, but nowadays I've luckily figured out you can just export videos from audio from videos, and yeah, but shall we move on to do you have anything more to say about
It's like, it's not even necessary anymore. And I should have you guys know, despite that I do edit audio as I'm a musician, I don't use tools like Audacity. I typically use Logic Pro if I'm editing audio.
That makes sense, because Audacity isn't even that. I mean, Audacity is really, I think, more intended for audio podcasts that are audio only, but
yeah, even then, like, because for one, this is a video podcast. In case you guys didn't know this, if you're listening to the audio version, we do have a video version here on YouTube. So, yeah, there's that. But primarily because the podcasts I've always done were video, I've always just used Final Cut or iMovie to edit them, and just export the raw audio from that when I'm uploading it to either Spreaker, or if I'm sending it to Teddy to upload to Spreaker, since he's the one who manages the Spreaker account for this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole story with us and Audacity. They had the audacity to update themselves for a change.
Exactly, but speaking of Audacity, shall we move on to Intel?
Okay, I ran that joke into the ground. Do we have the audacity to segue into our next topic?
I think we do, which is that Intel's new, faster, and more efficient Panther-like architecture is now out to be in chips, which, as long as we're trying to make it faster and more efficient, that's better. So, yay for Intel. But Intel this time is actually going to manufacture this for the first time in quite a while instead of outsourcing it. Sounds like Intel's getting back on their horse.
They have a fab here in the States, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why.
Well, that's probably why they're doing it here in house.
Yeah, because especially with government pressure, now the U.S. government owns a 10% stake in Intel.
Oh, that still bothers me to no end.
Same.
But, I mean, it is good for American workers. There's work to be done, and I just hope that this new... Is this technically their new 15th gen architecture?
Maybe.
Because I haven't heard that referenced.
No.
So far, I've only still heard of the 14th. But again, this is a new architecture, and I'm wondering, is this now what they're going to market to consumers as 15th gen Intel? Because, like, nobody cares about all of the lakes and that type of such. Sure. They only care about which gen chip is it and where in the performance hierarchy does it rank.
That'll probably be what they'll do if I had to guess, but that's... Yeah, I mean, there's not really...
So my dad's new computer is now officially outdated, and he hasn't even received it yet.
I mean, they've only announced it, so it's going to be a little bit before they actually start mass manufacturing and before it starts getting to computers. It's going to be a month or two before that happens, but...
Yeah, I suppose, because then motherboard... I heard a potential rumor they've changed the physical design of it, which means... We have, once again, yet another socket.
Yeah, so there's going to be more. So there's going to be lots of work to be done before this is ready to go into consumer hardware. So your dad's new computer isn't quite outdated yet, but... Is there anything more to say about this, or shall I move on to Discord?
It's still not working. I was going to say real quick. So last weekend, for context, I went down to my grandparents' house where my grandpa is building my dad a valued at roughly $3,000-ish, somewhere around there. And it's supposed to be a new work computer to do SolidWorks, that type of stuff. Although that turned out to be a complete disaster because part of the reason I was going to go down was it was supposed to be finished. It was supposed to be fully built. Except I came down only to find... the CPU error code is on the motherboard, and like, oh, that's lovely. It doesn't detect there's a CPU in the motherboard. So, turned out he bent some pins, and I had to unbend them.
Welcome to my world when I had to repair the keyboard on my... That's exactly how I managed to break my...
Yeah.
iBook clamp. Hang on.
Oh, dude, I broke the 8 Plus, the iPhone 8 Plus, by the way.
You broke that. Does the logic board and that still work?
Oh, I took that out. No, what happened is I melted the chassis just a little too much. That's what happened. I think I applied just a little too much heat.
My Indigo iBook's keyboard, so I had to replace that. What I would recommend doing for iPhone 8 Plus, by the way, is I just recommend just buy an icon locked unit off of eBay and just swap the motherboards. That's my...
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I found the back housing for another, well, I haven't ordered it yet because I'm still waiting on a few other big spending moments to happen so I can feel comfortable spending another $50 on a personal project. But nonetheless, I came down to find that, oh, it's not detecting the CPU. And then, unfortunately, the motherboard had to be sent back. Because we got it to finally detect the CPU, but no matter what we tried, we could not get it to detect any memory of any type.
Well, that's bad.
So, yeah, my dad still does not have a computer. Though we did get an interesting experience out of trying to... It was in the case, out of the case, in the case, out of the case. So, cooler on, cooler off. I burned my finger in the process of this, by the way.
And then you got your...
Yeah, for your information, guys, CPUs get really, really hot to the point where you can literally boil water on them. So...
Makes perfect sense.
Woo!
Makes perfect sense. Maybe they should just start making kettles out of CPUs.
You mean stoves out of CPUs?
Yeah.
Now, there are some memes out there where people have tried to cook eggs using Intel CPU computers. Because they legit do get that hot. Like, if you look at any faulty pre-built reviews, a common thing they look for is, what is the CPU temp running at? And if it's at 100 degrees Celsius, which if you know anything about
That's boiling.
that's the that's literally water boiling, then yeah, something is wrong with the computer. Yeah, they do legit get that hot if they're not cooled properly. So, and yeah, we just did a quick test after we got the CPU seated. It finally decided to work. So because now it was working, it was running at full speed, and we were waiting for it to see if it would detect the memory. And in the process, I decided, okay, is the CPU working? And I made the mistake of touching that. That was a huge mistake.
Oh, didn't
Wow, that was hot.
Didn't you actually and didn't you just get your hands hurt today in the shop?
Yeah, it's real fun when you're trying to pull stuck drills out of tool holders. Oh, that hurts.
Ooh.
Especially when you have eczema. It just makes it worse.
Well, also
because then that means it's slow to heal.
Well, back when I had woodshop class in eighth grade which was in 2022 for reference, that back then I actually had to get burn cream on one time because I accidentally made the mistake of touching a nail after I just drilled it, not realizing that would be hot.
Oh, yeah, that's they get warm, especially when going into wood.
So there's that. So I learned that pretty quickly, and then I really should have been more careful with this, but in eighth grade later on that year in early 2023 when I had home ec, for our final project we decided we made coasters out of cloth and we had to iron them together, and I made the mistake of accidentally touching the cloth. I think it was the cloth after I just ironed it.
Yeah, that's
I had to get burn cream on again on my
because
finger.
irons have a steam component. They have a steam component. There's hot water on that. That's how you got burned.
Yep, that's... Yeah, so I've been...
And see, this is why... It's things like this, like touching a boiling hot CPU. This is why I claim to be a professional idiot. Things like these is why... Situations like that is why I claim to be a professional idiot. Because I will do stupid stuff on the occasion.
Well,
like touch a boiling hot CPU or completely melt an iPhone 8 Plus chassis.
Yeah, we all do.
So.
We all do that, so that's not... We all do stupid stuff, though, but that... Are you ready to move on to our next topic about Discord? Which we're using to make this call.
Oh, what did Discord do this time?
So whenever Discord accounts have gotten suspended because they suspected that the users were too young to own a Discord account, in order to prove that they weren't owned by people that were too young, they had to upload their government IDs, and the agency that was responsible for handling Discord's ID uploads just got breached. So now Discord has managed to successfully breach 70,000 government IDs.
Oh dear. You know, this is the kind of thing that I'd look at once just to make sure and then delete that information, because the point is you only need to prove it once, right?
Yes.
So why are they still holding that data?
I mean, I know. I mean, Google claims that whenever you upload your ID to that platform, if you have to, then they claim to delete it. I don't know if they actually do or not, but...
Well, knowing Google, I doubt it personally, because Google does love storing your information.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in all seriousness, when it comes to this type of stuff, there are some limitations where you really should be asking, why do they need to hold on to this information?
Exactly.
The point is literally just to verify, and you only need to do it once. Once you've verified everything, then that's it. You don't need that information again. It's not relevant because you've passed the verification test.
And also, I mean, there's very few cases when it's actually a danger to actually require government IDs just for a social media messaging app.
That is very true. It's like, that's why I've never done that with Twitter. That's why especially not doing it with Facebook. Oh my gosh. No, there are some things that you just don't give out willy-nilly like that. I mean, yeah, the big ones are like social security numbers and driver's license. Like that's the real stuff that can identify you. Phone numbers, you can always get a new one. You can just toss the old one away and always get a new one. Emails, same exact thing. If your email gets compromised, you get too much spam, you can always throw it away and create a new one, even if it's a massive inconvenience to all of your other connections. But no, when it comes to things like government IDs or social security numbers, that type of stuff, you don't just hand that stuff out willy-nilly. And while I understand, like, the ultimate reason why this is a thing is because they're trying to protect underage people from
bad guys,
bad people on the internet. Yeah. You gotta be careful how you go about this. And I'm not thrilled that this happened with Discord because, especially, why do they need to keep this ID? At this point, they have verified, yes, this is both a real person, but also they meet the age requirement. At that point, account should be just labeled as greenlit. Yes, verified. We are all set, good to go. No need to keep this data anymore.
But also another thing is that that scammers oftentimes will claim to be from government agencies and will ask people for their IDs then, so they could very well. So they could
just like Nancy.
Who's Nancy?
You don't remember the message I sent today?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do, about your back
Nancy,
taxes.
From American Tax or something like that.
Yeah, about your back taxes, because I didn't know backs get taxed, but yeah, getting back. But yeah, like why do you? But that that the scammers could that people who are illegitimate could very easily just get a photo of an ID and pass it off to Discord, and
that's also true. Yes, someone could upload a fake ID, that type of thing. But I mean, at the same time, it's just see, this is the downside to the constant need to store your data to sell it to advertisers.
And another big problem is that the reason why I'm okay with most social media sites having my name Teddy Maggart on is because that's not my actual legal name. So therefore, insurance providers and such, they often like to sell this data to hike up insurance prices that want this data. Insurance providers aren't going to be able to find, like, insurance company, like Google can't sell my data to insurance providers, and there'll be no proof that it's Teddy Maggart's insurance because Teddy Maggart isn't my legal name.
I will say though that if someone did put two and two together, it's really not hard to figure.
Oh no, it's not hard to figure.
It really isn't.
It's not. No, it's not hard to figure out that my actual name is Theodore. But that's aside the. But I also just don't put any real sensitive information that could be used to harm me. Like that, so.
Yeah, for me, it was just to try to. For me, it's just I had a lot of people from history from school that I want no association with, and so it's part of the reason why I still do it. It's just, I don't know. I keep going back and forth about the stage name thing because on one hand, especially now that I'm older and in my 20s, it's like it sounds a bit dumb, it sounds a bit childish at this point,
Well,
but at the same time it's like,
it's stock.
yeah. It's like this for one, this is who the audience kind of knows me for. They still don't know my actual name unless they know me in person.
Well, also, I'm sure I don't know how many. I don't know how many of your former classmates actually remember you at this point.
You'd be surprised.
Oh no. Do some of them?
I really am shocked how much some of them have kept track of me.
Do you still keep in touch with any of them, or else do they?
The last time I had interaction with a classmate was on a comment on my whole school trauma video. One of them commented on my video. It wasn't anything negative. If anything, it was comment explaining how they felt like they could relate in that situation, which, oh dude, the school I went to in particular was a complete social nightmare. It for so many people. It was literally just it was a giant popularity contest, and people like me made it to the bottom. Like, we were not liked at all, and there were I had one person comment on my video discussing they recalling being in a similar situation. And so but other than that, I mean, if anyone remembers Salt Pepper,
Yeah.
I've completely cut ties with him.
Yeah. And
So I haven't seen my ex in a few years, at least. I mean, last time I spoke with her was last year, but even then it was via text. It was never a phone call. I don't remember the last time I've heard her voice. But no, the truth is I really don't keep up with anyone from my old school. For one, I hardly had any friends. So there's not that many people to keep up with, but due to my reputation of being the odd crazy one, people did know who I was, and so I had a lot of flack that I'm trying to get away from. I've mostly gotten away from it at this point because, as far as what I can tell, most of them have moved on to college. Most of them have moved on to their figuring out their lives. And it's a good relief for me, at least, that now they're concerned with themselves and not me. But I don't know. I still feel in this awkward situation where, yes, I still go by Alpha DeWolf. I mentioned this in the intro and outro of this show all the time. But I mean, you might have noticed in my own videos, I've dropped that tagline. Don't know if you notice.
That makes sense.
I've instead been saying, this is the Random Alpha Gadgets signing out, or this is the Random Alpha Drive, or whatever channel I'm making the video on. I've dropped the "my name is" tagline.
Well, that makes sense since most people know Alpha Day Wolf is not your real name anyway. So
yeah, it's not.
That's just like how I use the iTunes fanboy.
Yeah, I ended up dropping the tagline.
That's just like how I use the iTunes fanboy as my own tagline, even on this show, just because. I mean, that's more my... It's just easier to say for the show. I mean, I still reveal my real name on the show, so...
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on, do I give it up? Because on one hand, the mature adult in me says this is childish, this is a bit stupid, and it causes a bit of a problem because this is the name I have on my email and other stuff. It causes a bit of a problem when I'm trying to talk to my friends or email or message or do some important things, because I always show up as someone else on the email and not my actual name. So on one hand, it's a bit inconvenient for them, and it's gotten to the point where it's a bit inconvenient for me. But at the same time, it's like it also works as a great scam detection tool. It really does.
That is.
So
I mean, I actually used to put the iTunes fanboy on all my online stuff, including all my online accounts, including my own Apple ID and my own Gmail. But I actually had to. But on my you don't see this on the YouTube side, but on the Google account, on my main Google account, that I use for my YouTube channel. On that account in 2021, because that was when I was homeschooled I mentioned this on my YouTube channel way back, but when I was homeschooled with another online program, I went ahead and did. When I was homeschooled with another online program, we weren't assigned school Google account, so I had to use my own. And just to make it easier for that, I decided to put Teddy Maggart there just to make it easier. But afterwards, I haven't. But I mean, I still have.
because that's another problem too. Because like most people on the internet knows me as Alpha DeWolf. If I were to change the name on my email back, the channel that I use for watching everyone else's content, guess what's going to happen to that?
There is one thing I should clarify. You can change it to where because Alpha Day Wolf is technically a YouTube channel on YouTube, like the personal one. You can technically change it so that way it won't display on your YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, because that's
So I guess I'll have to make this change like super late at night when nobody's likely to be watching or viewing that channel, so that way I can change the name on my email real quick, but leave the YouTube channel as Alpha DeWolf. I'm fine with that, because at this point, this is what most of the community knows me as. But I don't. The biggest pain right now is just dealing with the name that shows up on my email. That's the most annoying.
You can't change your email address without getting a new account, though, so you'll still have to have. Well.
Oh, I'm not changing the address. I'm just changing the name.
Yeah, you can change. Yeah, no, you can do that because, like, on my personal Google account, I have Teddy Maggart. My main Google account is my email, and then I have Teddy Maggart put on that. But then that same account, which is the iTunes fanboy, my main YouTube channel, that is still listed as the iTunes fanboy. So.
Yeah, good to know. I'll just have to experiment with this in the middle of the night so I can finally end this confusion.
Yeah, that would be a good.
But
that will be a good thing, definitely, to people who try to email you. But shall I go ahead and move on to Chrome now?
Yeah. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, since you know how Chrome used to always give annoying notifications for some website.
The truth is, no, I don't, because I'm one of the few people in existence that actually legit does not use Google Chrome.
Good to know, but anywho, Google Chrome is now... But there used to be notifications that would pop up for some websites on Google Chrome, but nowadays, Chrome is automatically disabling notifications that users don't care about. So, which is literally all of them, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, I legit did not know this was a thing because I don't use Chrome. On my Macs, I use Safari, and on my PCs, I use Firefox. And, even on my, I just had it here. Here it is. Even on my Pixel 6, I don't use Google Chrome. I use Firefox. That... As weird as that is, I'm a Firefox user, not a Chrome user.
Makes sense, I mean...
Unless I'm on the Mac, then I use Safari. So
I might switch to Firefox.
Ultimately, Safari is my preferred browser. I do like Safari legit I do like Safari the most out of all the web browsers out there. The problem is, because Safari is an Apple product exclusive web browser, I end up using Firefox on everything else.
Makes sense.
So,
but yeah, there's that.
But Yeah, I suppose that's a good thing. Disabling crap that nobody uses in the first place.
Exactly, but shall I move on to some crap, more crap?
Crap GPT?
So ChatGPT is now introducing apps that inside ChatGPT. So they're basically trying to copy the Rabbit R1.
How well did that work for them?
It didn't, so, or I mean, they're still technically selling it, but
yeah, I don't know how this is going to work because I mean, I watched an interesting video on the Randy Nexus friend Randy Vasquez. He had an interesting comment about the whole AI experience in regards to like how us the user actually uses the product. And as far as what we can tell, the number one thing that's worked is just the chatbot, the AI chatbot.
yep.
Meanwhile, the whole Humane AI pin that kind of did an app thing as well, along with Rabbit R1, but and then Apple Intelligence, as bad as it is, it wasn't trying. They weren't trying to make a chatbot. They were just trying to integrate more machine learning tech into applications we use on a daily basis. But like, the number one thing that I think most people are familiar with when it comes to AI as it is just it's the chatbot. It's you. It's like you're texting your friend, but instead of you're texting your friend, you're texting an AI asking it for information.
Yep.
And so, because that, as much as I disagree with AI as a whole being a concept, period, from what I can tell in terms of the community that has been poisoned with artificial intelligence disease, this is their favorite method. Yes, I am still saying it this way.
That's totally fine.
That's yes. For those who have been poisoned with artificial intelligence disease, this seems to be their favorite flavor of poison. If you get what I mean.
Yes, I do.
So, is this gonna work? I don't know. I mean, if you ask me, I don't think AI still has worked to this day. But, I mean, I'm me.
Yes,
What more are you going to get out of me? So,
I mean, I think apps
that's all I have to say on
I think
that.
apps and ChatGPT are stupid, but I think it's time to move on to the NAS firm Synology, which is after a backlash of only allowing first-party drives, they're now permitting third-party hard drives to be placed in their servers again.
Yeah, I remember it felt like last year was around the time when they tried launching this first-party drive only thing, and I don't think anybody took that well.
Yeah, because the problem with servers is that, I mean, even Apple's own Xserve servers, when that was a thing, even they let people put third-party hard drives in.
Yeah, ultimately, it drives up. The reason why someone would go for a solution like Synology, I don't know if you guys. I'm not going to assume everyone knows what Synology is because the NAS server space is almost out of the Apple community at this point. But, I mean, there's two different types of routes you can go when building a server. There's the route I'm taking, which is I built my own. It's basically building a computer and plugging a bunch of hard drives in it and running a operating system that's more optimized for running a large network attached storage solution. That's the route I'm going, but obviously this route involves like building an actual computer. It involves taking the time to spec a system, order the parts, and all of that. That's not necessarily a route especially Apple users would want to go. That's why I love my Crap, why am I forgetting the name?
Airports.
It's a time capsule. That's what it is. Yeah, that's why I love the airport time capsule so much, because it made this technology more accessible to less tech-savvy users. That's why I love that concept so much. And it also doubles as a Wi-Fi router. Like, how can you not love it? So, oh, that's just my knife. Okay. But yeah, there's that route which I've gone because I can't find anything on the other end of the spectrum that makes more sense. But the other route, if you're not as tech savvy, is to go for something like Synology, where they've basically built the computer for you. All you need to do is add your hard drives, because like hard drives come in so many different capacities. It's like, yeah, all you have to do is add your hard drives and connect it to power and your network, and then you're basically all set. So I do see the importance of going down that route, because not everyone's tech savvy like us, and obviously I went down the build a computer route because A, it's fun, B, it's content, and yeah, yada yada yada. But no, I was not a fan because of this whole thing, because Synology is like the number one leader in terms of the residential home network storage solution thing, and because they were basically, I refer to it as pulling an HP with, oh, you need HP certified specific ink cartridges for the printer. This was the exact vibe I was getting from Synology. I'm like, what the hell?
Because at least if Apple,
Totally
they're,
unnecessary.
I mean, Apple does do the same thing with some of their stuff, I will admit. Like with parts of their screens, but the parts, third-party parts will still work in Apple devices. It's just they'll come up with error messages.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily a fan of all of that either. I mean, unless there are legit security benefits, then yeah, I get it. But the point is, especially the hard disagreement I have with, oh, you're not allowed to put third-party drives in this. This is a storage server connected to a network, connected to the internet. What difference does it make, the drive being first or third party?
Exactly, it doesn't. So, and knowing these days,
So yeah, for chips like the Secure Enclave, where it is like legit designed for security, yeah, I've got no problem with that. But no, simply locking out hardware because just so they can say, or just so they can hand you the middle finger and charge you more. No, that's something that I do disagree with. And even though I buy a lot of Apple products, and I know Apple is a bit guilty in making this type of stuff difficult to upgrade, there are some benefits to it. Primarily, like, even though, yes, it sucks that your SSDs are soldered to the motherboard on all of your Macs, the number one reason why I'm not complaining too much is there is a legit performance benefit to doing it this way. And so, at that point, it's now a compromise. It's now a trade-off. You now have to decide, okay, do I want the ability to upgrade the storage in the future? Or do I want the extra performance benefits that I get with it being soldered down? It's now, you gotta weigh this trade-off. But no, stupid things like, oh, this hard drive doesn't work because it's not certified by us. Like, no, that it's a hard drive. It's no different. There's no difference between the first and the third party, other than, I guess, firmware that Synology is programming into their first party ones. But at the end of the day, it's going into a network attached storage server. There's no security benefit. There's no performance benefit, because they're still ultimately 3.5-inch hard drives. So yeah, it's good that they're reversing this decision, because it was a bad one that they made.
exactly. And if Synology was actually a big enough firm to where everybody has heard of them, that probably would have gotten them an instant antitrust lawsuit from the European Union.
Definitely. Because, I mean, yeah, again, Synology is like the number one go-to. It's the biggest name out there for a home server solution.
Exactly, and I agree with what Alpha says. So, shall we move on to our next topic regarding Arduino, however you say that?
Arduino.
Arduino, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's Arduino. It's like saying penguin. How it has the U and the I. It's exactly like that. It's Arduino.
But anywho, the next Arduino, which is a single board computer, has a Qualcomm chip for the first time in a single board computer. That's cool.
Yeah, and for anyone who is not familiar with what an Arduino is, actually, let me be right back. Do I have an Arduino? No, but I have something similar.
It's effectively like a Raspberry Pi.
Come on, unplug. So it's attached to one. I currently have it attached to a display, but this right here is a Raspberry Pi. It's effectively an Arduino. It's kind of like an Arduino, but instead of it, you have to flash the software to it. This legit can run a full Linux desktop operating system. That's the primary difference between a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino. Otherwise, they are practically the same. So, yeah, I guess Qualcomm's now getting into the microcontroller space, which, I mean, I thought they already were for various other firms, but I guess, well, Arduino is more of a do-it-yourself type of device.
Qualcomm also owns Arduino now.
Oh. Well, that's bigger news than a Qualcomm chip is on an Arduino. Is that good news? I don't think so. Because it's like, does Qualcomm really need to own anything else? Like, they basically have a monopoly on the Android smartphone chip market.
I mean, there's MediaTek, but...
Yeah, you typically don't find them unless they're in, like, super cheap budget phones.
That's true.
And that's primarily due to the fact that MediaTek has not really been competitive over Qualcomm, so...
And we all know what happened when Intel tried to make
it feels like it's...
to put their chips in phones.
Huh?
And we all know what happened when Intel tried to put their chips in phones.
Oh, yeah, I watched that Stasi Labs video. Yeah, that was a blunder. That was such a blunder on Intel's part.
I actually have a tablet with Intel inside, which... Oh, dang, I'm going to have to go through quite a stack to get to this. Oh my gosh. This is that super crappy Android tablet. I paid $7 for this Walmart tablet, and it has Intel inside. This is from 2017.
Really?
Yeah, it's bricked now somehow. So I have to figure out how to flash this firmware back on, but yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I actually have a tablet with Intel inside.
Huh. I don't.
Yeah, because
that's pretty funny.
I have a tendency to own too much random stuff, random tech.
Yeah.
I never touch.
Yeah, for me at this point, it's now like musical instruments or that type of thing. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much more else to say about the Qualcomm Arduino thing.
Neither do I, but shall we move on to our next topic about IONNA?
Oh, I was so happy to see this news today.
Yeah, you'll have to explain because I don't know much about this.
So, oh wait, you don't have a credit card because you're not 18 yet. I was gonna say, You'll find this out when you do get a credit card.
I'm not gonna get a credit card.
If you ever go to a gas station, you're gonna want to if you ever go to a gas station or a charging station, because you'll find that a lot of places do not accept debit or cash.
All the gas stations in my area accept debit.
I have had terrible luck with Shell, obviously, but I never shop at Shell anymore. And I've had problems with Holiday, although I don't know if they were fully acquired by Circle K. But I have not had luck at Circle K's either.
That's interesting. That's weird. Hold up. That's weird because at my local Circle K, I can pay with. I can get. Now, I can't bypass the PIN on mine if I use Apple Pay, but yeah, I can pay with my debit card just fine at my local Circle K, and I haven't tried it at Shell, but because I don't really shop at Shell, but I can do it at Exxon too, so
yeah, I mean, the only stations that I have ever gotten my debit card to actually work at are BP's, British Petroleum. It's part of the reason why I stop there all the time.
There's no BP's in your area anymore.
That was like legit the only place that would take my debit card. That was it. I couldn't find anywhere else that would take a debit card. And it's like in the case with Shell, it was like pump after pump after pump before they finally accepted it. But it was such a bad experience. But no, up here, you need either a credit card, otherwise you better hope that this station has a convenience store so you can pay in cash.
I always pay in the I always pay in the convenience store anyway. Like I go in and pray.
Yeah. I think that might it have something to do with my Shell incident by chance?
That's actually not the main reason, but that's partially why. But the main reason why I go in, there's two reasons why I go in to pay to get gas before I. First of all, I just like being able to get out of my car and actually go in a store and just get to see more people. That's one reason why I do it. Do it just so that way I feel like I'm getting out there a little bit more. But also the second reason is, my dad's actually had this incident happen to him where sometimes people will place readers into the debit card readers on gas pumps or credit card readers on gas pumps, and they'll use it to swipe the information. So therefore,
yeah.
So that is why I never use my card at pumps, even though I do have to guesstimate.
It's not really that much of a problem with newer gas pumps these days because, for one, you have to rip apart the whole pump before you can get access to the credit card reader at this point. And even then, they've got stickers on them.
Like they put sensors in the readers that are so small, but that's aside the point. But I always pay.
What I'm saying is, in order to do that, you basically have to remove the reader from the pump.
No.
And they've got a lot of preventative measures to keep that from happening these days.
That's odd, because
older gas pumps I would still be leery about.
That's odd, because because the gas station that my dad got his credit card information stolen at, that was at a gas station that was built in 2017.
That was 8 years ago.
So, I mean, it's not that old, but yeah, that's. But either way, I don't have, because I typically pay for gas in convenience stores. They obviously accept my debit card in there, so.
All right, just warning you, if you ever come up here, you're not going to get far with the debit card at gas stations here. So, but nonetheless, the reason why I'm saying this is anyone else who has a credit card is familiar with this. Whenever you swipe your card or tap for Apple Pay or that type of thing using a credit card, there's a pre-authorization charge that happens. In fact, this was kind of what sent me down the whole rabbit hole with the Shell situation.
Yep.
So they have a pre-authorization fee that they will use as credit. They will give you, you can spend up to this much money as credit. And they do this just to make sure that you're not like completely robbing the gas station. So it's referred to as a pre-authorization fee. Now, what went wrong was apparently they tried pre-authorizing my debit card, which that's not how a debit card works, for one. And then as a result, they ended up just completely robbing me. Something went wrong in that process. But nonetheless, like, when it got to the point where you have to get the police involved to convince them, hey, something went wrong here, perhaps we should give you your money back. Yeah, it's a whole situation. But the point is, when you pay with a credit card at a gas station, you're probably typically used to seeing a pre-authorization charge added to your card. Usually it's around $100. Sometimes it's $200 if you're at a more truck stop style station where you might be buying a lot more fuel than typical. Other times you can find some real sticklers out there, like my particular BP station that will charge you a $300 pre-authorization fee, as ridiculous as that is. But nonetheless, they use that to make sure that you're not just trying to steal. You know, they make sure you can pay them, you can afford the gas in the first place. And so this is the thing on gas stations, and IONNA did basically something similar. It wasn't anywhere near as bad, like $100, but they've had a $50 pre-authorization fee if you did the payment via a credit card, which, come to think of it, I also don't know if they accept debit cards or not. I'm just saying, I don't know if they do.
Let me look it up.
When you, yeah, that'd be a good thing to look up. But if you tapped with a credit card or paid with a credit card, they'd hold a $50 pre-authorization fee, and it functioned basically the same at gas stations. Though there was a period exposed via Out of Spec Kyle Connor where something went wrong, and he was doing, like, the charging sessions kept going wrong, and he was doing $50 pre-authorization, $50 pre-authorization, $50 pre-authorization. It got to the point where his credit card company froze his card. So, because there were some bugs with the pre-authorization thing going on, I don't know if that's IONNA's fault or Pater's fault. That's the payment terminals that they're using, I believe. But it ended up getting into a bit of a situation where this $50 pre-authorization fee was a bit too high, especially for people, like, as far as what I can tell after doing the math, most charging sessions, if you own a more average electric vehicle, they typically end up costing around $35 given the price that IONNA charges. It may cost more if you show up in a Hummer or a Silverado EV due to their massive battery packs. But yeah, the news is IONNA has lowered this pre-authorization fee to $30, something a lot more reasonable.
Makes sense.
Which is literally a tenth of the pre-authorization fee that BP holds on me, by the way.
Good.
I don't know if this is just a BP thing in general or if it's just my local gas station, but nonetheless, yeah.
I did check IONNA whether they accept debit cards, and they said that they accept most mobile wallets, so they accept Apple Pay. So I assume that, well, if I can get my debit card ever linked to Apple Pay again, then that'll be, then that.
It will still Apple Pay isn't specifically debit or credit. I will have you know.
I know.
Cause like at my Circle K, there have been times where I try to pull up my debit card to pay there, only to forget, oh no, it doesn't work. And this is using Apple Pay.
I always just I just have it go through as That's weird because I always just have it go through. That must be a difference in state laws because I can only typically the payment terminals in my area, they'll just let you treat them. They'll just let you have. They'll just trick. You can just trick them into thinking they're credit cards, and they'll instantly work.
I don't think you're supposed to do that. I'm not. I mean, does it work? Yes, but I don't think you're supposed to do that. And if that's the case, you might potentially end up in a situation like I did with my whole shell situation.
That's
So
that makes sense. But yeah, either way,
I mean, if you don't have any other choice and it works, then I guess yeah, I guess take the chance. But I won't be recommending anyone to lie to the payment terminal like that. Oh, this is a credit card. This is a debit card.
I mean,
I won't.
I don't know. I mean, it just Joe. I mean, yeah, sure. Back when I didn't know my PIN, I did used to have to trick it into thinking it was a credit card. But now that I actually know my PIN, I can just have it run through as debit and it'll work.
Yeah, it's still ultimately something I recommend against. If it's a debit card, you tell the machine it's a debit card. If you're desperate, I'll understand why. It's just I will not be recommending it. It's especially when it comes to finances and money. That's a risk I'll leave you to take.
Do the convenience stores on the inside typically accept debit? Because I mean, they surely would have to for.
Not my Circle K.
Do they?
You go in, I mean...
Please tell me they accept cash.
I've been getting a lot of these lately because they have a 3 for $6 deal going on. But when I go to the counter, no. They do not take debit.
Please tell me they take cash.
They do take cash. They take cash and credit.
Okay, I'll just have...
But they do not take a debit card.
Okay. That must be something to do with Michigan stupid state laws, because... In my area, then I can just use my debit card practically any gas station. It'll work.
Well, as far as I know, the reason I don't know if this is every Circle K. I can only just speak for my local one.
It can't be.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because my local Circle K actually used to be a Holiday gas station, and Holidays never, ever accepted debit. There was no Holiday gas station out there that ever accepted debit. And because now that gas station is run by Circle K, I don't know if they just haven't changed their payment systems or not. Like, for one, I know Circle K takes Apple Pay. My local gas station does not take Apple Pay at the pumps. So... That I just don't know, but it could just be the weird Holiday Circle K integration thing going on. But no, to my knowledge, at least around here, yeah, good luck trying to get a debit card to work at gas stations. There's not that many that will take it. I only know that BP does, but even then, BPs are kind of phasing out around here too.
That's. But that I'll have to be on the lookout for that, because I'll have to be on the. Yeah, I never realized that. I guess I should say that another thing is that, especially in my area, and I'm sure it's like that for you too, is especially in my area, a lot of times the gas stations in my area are like the actual convenience store parts are run by families, and so they're independent, so they have.
No, yeah, that's the case around here too.
So that's probably why there's so many differences. Like, even though we both have shells in our area, that's why they have different. That's why the actual payments.
I will say my local Shell. Oh wait, come to think of it, they've actually it's not branded as Shell anymore. They changed the branding on it, but I will say my local Shell station, back when it was a Shell station, had no convenience store.
The ones that did have convenience stores do have convenience stores, like most of them, but
yeah, this is why I'm just saying, even though I'm not saying you have to use it, but you might want to get it just as an option if that's the only option that's working.
I mean, the reason why I don't get credit cards is because I don't want to have to deal with forgetting to make payments on time. I just want to. I'm more of a.
Oh, trust me, they will discover. I mean, I hate sounding like I'm going to be an advertisement for Discover because I've been talking to 2 different people about them today. Well, not today, yet a couple days ago. Point is, with Discover, they send you frequent emails about when payments are due. They make it real clear when payments are due.
Well, also, I don't want to get made. I mean, okay, that's valid, but I also don't. I also don't like getting random emails about stuff. But that's aside. That's beside the point. But yeah, I just prefer. I'm just more of a set it and forget. That's probably why I use Apple devices, because they're in theory supposed to be simple, and debit cards are simpler, which is. I just like debit cards for their simplicity.
They are, because it's literally just take money out of bank account, send to merchant. I get it. I do appreciate that simplicity. But for me, it stopped working when nobody is taking debit cards, and that's all I had.
That's...
So... Yeah, that's the primary reason why. I'm not saying you have to use this all the time. I'm just saying that you might find yourself in a situation where they don't take debit for whatever reason, and, well, then there's the cash, like... I mean, I've never been to a gas station that doesn't accept cash if it's at a convenience store. Usually every convenience store will take cash. Oh, well, but wait. What if you need gas in the middle of the night and the convenience store is closed?
That's a valid point.
What does that leave you with?
That's why I typically...
I understand why you're so against credit cards. I'm not particularly the biggest fan of them either. In fact, I hate that I use mine so much, but the reason why I'm doing it is just to build up my credit score and credit history. But nonetheless, I do think it is important not to write it off altogether. There may be situations where that is legit the only form of payment that is going to work right there in the moment. Yeah. So if I ever do road trips in the middle of the night, which if you know me, you know that's going to be basically never. If I for some reason need gas in the middle, a lot of the gas stations in my area too, not all of them, but a lot of them do have stores that are open 24/7. Because I live closer to an interstate. Yeah, so, that's not really a thing around here.
Because there's more through traffic in my area, so there's a few of them that are open 24. Especially if I need gas, I can just go by the interstate, because I know those gas stations are very likely going to have convenience stores that'll be open.
Yeah, I suppose. But no, at least around here in middle of nowhere, it is a bad idea to assume a convenience store is going to be open.
Yeah, that makes sense for you, since, well, I'm sure if they do build an north to south interstate in the UP, I'm sure Hilton will be one of the main cities that I'll go to.
If I had to guess, if they were going to do it, they'd route it from Green Bay up to Marinette, Menominee area, up to Escanaba, up to Marquette, and then straight to Houghton.
Yeah, that's why I assume they do. That's why I assume they do too. Probably I-43.
Basically, just extend I-41 up that way, please.
Yeah. Or else if we followed the Magnet interstate system, that would involve extending I-65 up to. Well, I'm not sure if I would do Houghton, North, or Hancock, or else Copper Harbor.
I don't think Copper Harbor needs it necessarily.
I would just do that.
I think all the way up to Houghton makes sense. Anything past doesn't really make that much sense.
The only reason why I would do the reason why I would like to extend I-65 up to Copper Harbor is, first of all, to get a north to south interstate that literally goes all the way from the Gulf Coast to the lake to the literal furthest north point. But also, I would at least route to Hancock, just so that way you could have a bypass for Houghton, so that to get that second bridge across the Keweenaw Waterway, and to have
okay, fair,
to have access to the air,
that would be appreciated,
and to have access to the airport as well, because it's really not safe to route semi trucks through the Upper Loop either.
Oh those are fun. Those are so fun to get around. Up to the airport, hardly anyone goes to our airport.
I meant just in that general area. I would extend it to you. If I was gonna build north of the bridge, I plan building it north of the bridge. I would extend it up to Route 41 north of the bridge, which would just happen to be in that same area.
I will tell you this: there's hardly any traffic. There legit is hardly any traffic, even though Calumet's further north. The amount of traffic is not heavy enough to justify it.
Well, then
and especially if you go north of Calumet, especially, I think an interstate would ruin the scenery.
Well, it would also be expensive to build because of the Porcupine Mountains, but that might not.
Porkies are a little. Porkies aren't this far north.
Well, I mean, just due to the typical difficult terrain. So, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably not worth building that, but I would at least build a Hancock just to offer a second bridge for that area.
Oh, I hate it whenever the city posts something on social media about, hey, we're planning to build a second bridge. It's like, you're the boy who cried wolf at this point. You've been saying this for years. So,
shall we move on to more updates on your loaner tracks? Because we have 6 topics to go through and only a half hour left.
Oh, sure, I guess so. So, I've had the tracks for, I guess, week and a half at this point. Yeah, about a week and a half. I've already put about 650 miles on that car. As crazy as it is.
How much do you drive?
Now, granted, I took a road trip in it over the weekend, so that's where the majority of the miles came from. But even then, I put like 100 miles on it Monday to Friday. Because I picked it up with so few miles on it. Like, it was like the odometer was reading in the teens when I picked the car up. And I left the house for that road trip at 106 miles. So, but yeah, granted, I took the car on a road trip. And this is the thing that I wanted to talk about, just talking about the tracks on a road trip. There's a bunch of technology in it that I appreciate that it has over Stardust. In fact, I hate that most of it is just options that my car does not have. Dude, I love adaptive cruise control. I can't tell you how bad I wish Stardust had adaptive cruise control. So, yeah, adaptive cruise was the nicest thing to have on that drive. It was also kind of nice to have the auto high beams, although I found that they sometimes turn off a little later than I'd like, and so they're blinding drivers a little longer than I'd prefer. So there are times where I just turn them.
I don't really ever turn on high beams anymore because it's just too. My area, even though it's rural, it's just that I don't want to have to worry about turning them off. So, and it's not. Yeah.
Well, if I had to guess, your rural area is definitely more urban dense than Houghton is.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little bit more densely packed than the Houghton area.
So, but yeah, there are some situations though where, especially if you're outside of, because I mean, most of the UP again, it's back roads
that aren't illuminated,
and so yeah, there's no lights, there's no billboards or anything like that. It's based. That's all our highways are made of up here. I mean, you've seen the driving footage how many times when I've gone from here to Wisconsin, or I don't know if you saw the road trip video of Stardust all the way to DC.
Yep, I did.
But, I mean, did you see how long it took us to get to the interstate? And the types of roads we were on.
That's a valid point, because I mean okay, I do like the actual sight I get from the high beams. I do. It's just that it's just too unsafe to other drivers, but I do like the benefits of high beams.
Yeah, it's also very useful for trying to spot deer.
Oh yeah.
Because the problem with low beams is they don't look far enough out, and so yeah, you need the high beams to spot the deer. Otherwise, by the time you spot deer with low beams, oh, it's too late. You're hitting that. You're smacking that thing.
I actually did manage to spot a deer with low beams once, and that was in my.
Well, your eyes are a lot more observant than mine, as I think it has been obvious on the show for.
Because my eyes aren't even that observant, but do you mind if I tell the story?
Go for it, yeah.
So it was in November 2023, and I was 15 then, so I only had my learner's permit. And I was driving my dad's M6, and we were driving. Now, granted, this road did have illumination on it, I will say. Like, there were street lights, but it was still rural.
No, that does make a big difference.
Yeah, it was still rural, but I remember seeing something kind of faint in the road that was moving, which my reaction time is slow, for reference. My reaction time is not that slow, and even I managed.
Oh, so's mine.
And even I managed to spot the deer in time to brake, and yeah, I managed to avoid hitting that deer, and I saved that deer's life. And Dad's car.
Yeah, and his insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but, no, yeah, I did appreciate mostly the adaptive cruise. I love the adaptive cruise so much. And to my surprise, it was pretty darn efficient. We averaged roughly the same fuel economy as I did with Stardust on the DC trip. Now, granted, both cars used two completely different methods. My car, Stardust, has a 2.5-liter four-cylinder attached to an electric motor. The Trax has a pathetically tiny 1.2-liter. I don't even think it's a four-cylinder. I think it's a three-cylinder, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, stark differences in how they achieve that fuel economy rating. But, yeah, pretty efficient. I love adaptive cruise. But they need to do something about their choice of armrests.
Please explain.
I don't think, even out of like the cheaper cars my family has owned, I don't think I have ever been in a car that used the hardest plastics for an armrest. Even if the armrest is made of plastic, they typically use a padded or a softer plastic that like actually has some give, some cushion. Not in the Trax. That is straight, hard plastic.
Oh no. Why do I have a feeling I know where this is going?
That in combination of unexpected potholes in the road is real friendly on the elbows. I will tell you that much.
Oh, right, because you live in the pothole state.
Yes, we are infamous for our potholes. So, I want to like the car because even though GM doesn't make sedans anymore, that's kind of the closest you can get to one, despite it being a hatchback and having unusually high ground clearance. I want to kind of like it, but at the same time, my ultimate complaint with it is I got two ones. There's the driving position, which again I'm sitting too high. I want the seat lower. I just can't get it low enough. But the other complaint, the interior feels so cheap. It's got hard plastics everywhere. Even though I guess I have the upgraded leather seats and I get.
Even my car is
places
cloth.
on the armrest to choose where to put.
Even my car is cloth seats.
A cloth Mercedes?
Yes, at least
That's a thing?
at least the seats are maybe the headrests are leather, but yeah, the seats in my car are cloth, and yes, there is
A Mercedes with a cloth interior.
and there, wait, it might be leather, but no, I think it is. I think it actually no wait, it is leather. It's just tearing and showing some cushioning. Yeah, I'm pretty. Actually, I think it would have to be leather because it doesn't feel like cloth. Okay, never mind. Mine is leather.
Dude, it's a Mercedes. Why would a Mercedes have a cloth interior?
Yeah, good. There is some plastic on the. There is some plastic, there is some of that fake metal on my car in a few places in the dashboard.
Oh yeah, the fake aluminum. Yep, I'm well aware of that material, which thankfully my car does not have. But
my car sadly does have
no,
that.
the Trax does not have a nice interior. It's a lot of hard plastics, and I mean, I don't necessarily care about the plastics being used to decorate the interior to make it look like aluminum or that type of thing, because you're never going to touch those. But for me, it's just the bizarre decision is the bottom of the armrest, which is where your arm rests, is hard plastic, but the side is leather padded. Make that make sense to me. That doesn't make any sense at all. I would much rather the bottom, where gravity is pulling down on my arm, on my elbow, I would much rather that be a padded leather and then the side of it be a hard plastic. I would much rather that. But they decided to invert it.
And you're the one who
And
claims to be
now
the
it
professional
is-
idiot. There's
Yes! I'm the one who claims to be the professional idiot here. So, not particularly happy with that. In general, I don't... If I were to get a car similar to that, I'd have to step up to a Buick or a Cadillac, because GMC doesn't make anything that small. Which, that car supposedly shares a platform with the Buick Encore, if I'm not mistaken. So, you can get a slightly nicer version of that, and then I don't know if the Cadillac XT4 is related to that or not. I know the XT5 is related to the Equinox and the Terrain and the Envision, but I don't know. The XT4 is supposed to be smaller. I don't know if the XT4 is related to the Trax and the Encore.
that's something I could look up.
Something, yeah. But, oh, no, there's a reason I don't buy Chevys. And I will always take the GMC or the Buick or the Cadillac if they make a version of it. So
No, it is not.
that's what I thought. Okay, I thought. So yeah, it's just the Buick Encore then. Even then, I don't even think they dress up the interior that much nicer, if I'm being honest. There are some Buicks you can get that actually do have nice interiors, like Tabby approved interiors, as I'll call it. I'm saying this because Tabby approved of my interior just by owning an Audi.
I mean, your car
at the time.
Your car does. I mean, if I ever do get, I mean, from what I've seen in your videos, it actually does look quite. Your car's interior actually does look.
It is a nice interior. Yes, it is a nice interior. I'll admit I'm a bit spoiled with that. But Red Fox did not have a nice interior.
No,
it was mostly soft plastics and not hard, but Red Fox did not have a nice interior.
In fact, if I didn't want a Tesla Model 3, I would actually be willing to possibly give up my Mercedes for a Buick LaCrosse.
Assuming we get this lock thing figured out, I would 100% recommend it.
Assuming you get... Yeah. Although, you know, if you...
To be clear, I've only heard of it being an issue on my car, so it really just might be Stardust. But, no, dude, I love the LaCrosse. Back when I was dreaming about what would I drive for my first car, that was on my list. And I feel so fortunate to actually be able to own one as of today. No, it's a nice car. You get the right Buick. Yeah, Buick does make some nice interiors.
I also just don't like GM.
They also make some pretty bad ones too.
One of the many reasons why I do not like GM.
Mm-hmm. So,
shall we move on to our next topic?
Speaking of which, there's one more thing I should comment because it's absolutely hilarious. I also sent this in the group chat.
Oh, the toothpaste test, finally.
I did the panel gap toothpaste test. So.
Oh, look at that. Uh-oh. I can't get it to stay. I need a bigger tube of toothpaste. What the heck?
For context, years ago, Doug DeMiro rented Maserati Ghibli on Turo when he visited Nashville to film a few other cars. And so, in his video, he was talking about how bad the build quality is and discussing the panel gaps. There was a panel gap so large, he was struggling to get a large tube of toothpaste to even stick in it. That's how big the gap was. It couldn't even hold a tube of toothpaste. And I look at the passenger door in the tracks, and I notice this big... It reminds me so much of the Ghibli that Doug DeMiro reviewed. I'm like, I have to try this. So I went upstairs and grabbed a brand new bottle of Crest toothpaste.
Crest is a great brand, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the tube didn't fit. I actually had to hold it.
Do you mind if I add that video into this podcast episode for context?
Yeah, do it. Go ahead, showcase it. It's hilarious.
Because that's what I did with your guitar, with the guitar video you sent us to group chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely add the. Yeah, definitely add the toothpaste clip. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but Maseratis are so.
All right, I guess that's enough with the. Oh no, go ahead and finish up.
One thing I have to say about Maseratis is that I would never. Maseratis, from what I hear, are such unreliable cars.
Do you know why?
Because they go after 70,000 miles, everything starts breaking on them.
No. Guess who owns them? Stellantis.
Oh, makes perfect sense. Okay.
That's why Maseratis have bad build quality. Because they're owned by Stellantis.
All right, shall I move on to the M5 our rumors?
Yes, M5 Pro and M5 Max. I would have been more excited to see these.
Yeah, Sam, but there are rumors they'll debut it in January with possible eSIM and 5G support. Cellular support on a laptop is actually kind of interesting, I will admit, because that actually would be handy, I will admit, because I can't believe I'm about to praise netbooks. But my mom's old netbook, which this one alongside many other netbooks, because they might not have done this well for obvious reasons, but can't get this stupid thing open. But right here, as you can tell, this has, or it used to have, I actually took it out, but this has a SIM card slot in it. because it's intended to be on the go. And this is from this specific one is from '08. It's a Lenovo.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, for me, it doesn't make as much sense because, for one, I mean, cellular sucks here in general, so it's like, okay. But, I mean, if you travel a lot, and instead of needing to constantly find Wi-Fi networks or hook up to your iPhone's hotspot, I can see the appeal for it. Though, only if you travel a lot.
Same for, I mean, there's also Windows laptops out there still that offer cellular support. So, I mean, and there's cellular iPads too. So, I'm kind of surprised Apple didn't deliver cellular support to MacBook sooner.
Yeah, especially considering, like, I think the most ideal time for them to have done it was during the Apple Silicon transition.
I think the most ideal time for them to have done it would have been during the Unibuy MacBook Pro era.
I mean, I don't know if Intel would introduce complications. But I mean, I guess you can buy Windows laptops with Intel and cellular. So I mean, I guess
besides that,
excuse it.
That netbook has an Intel chip processor in it, and it has cellular. So,
oh, I bet here's a good reason why they shouldn't have done it. Power efficiency.
Oh yeah, those. At least I think that thing has. Oh yeah, you can buy Mac Pros overheat quite a lot. So. Yeah, this is Intel Atom.
So, yeah, honestly, I really think it would have made more sense to do it when they transitioned to Apple Silicon, because I do know cellular, if you're not in that great of a signal area, can use up a ton of battery, and so when you have a more efficient chip, you have more headroom to use cellular. But I digress.
Yeah, the cellular will be cool, but also, I doubt this is actually going to happen, but I thought I'd include this anyway, but the M5 iMac might possibly debut this month, making Alpha's iMac outdated.
Honestly, I don't really care
I know.
that much. The only thing that would make me really upset is if they added Face ID to it.
Or made a larger 32-inch Pro version.
Yes, that would make me really upset.
Would you sell your current iMac for Pro for?
Yes.
All right, good to know.
Dude, do you even have to ask?
I thought you would, but I was just curious. Of course you would. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Dude, I'm the king of screen real estate here. You go big or you go home.
I wouldn't buy that since I prefer using a laptop for everything, but that's just me. But do you have any more to say, or shall we move on to our next topic?
In terms of the iMac, I mean, all I want is just a bigger display. I have no complaints over performance. There's legit nothing to complain about performance-wise.
Yes.
I just want a bigger screen.
It'd be nice if they had a more Pro version, but that's really... But, I mean, the M5 chip, I mean, it's going to be a decent upgrade, but it won't be anything too noteworthy. But moving on to our next topic, the next Apple TV is rumored to have a $99 price point and the N1 wireless chip.
Well, I like to hear it when products get cheaper.
The Apple TV actually used to start at $99, believe it or not. So, back in, I think
They did increase the price over time.
Huh?
What did they do to increase the price over time?
I think the third generation, I know for... Actually, towards the tail end of the third generation's life cycle, it got reduced to, I think, $69.
Wow.
But I think of the Apple TV 8 in 2015, they started hiking the prices.
I mean, I get the appeal for the smart TV thing, especially since it really was around like early 2010s, somewhere around there, when I guess smart TVs began to take off. So I could understand the appeal for it then, especially, but I don't know. It was, the problem is, especially these days, who buys TV boxes anymore? Like, the only reason why I'd get one is so that way I can get a DVD drive at this point.
Same. Or else to get a game console, but I don't play video games, so...
I mean, yeah, that too. And it's like, you're not buying this Apple TV for gaming, as we discussed last week with the whole game problem I discovered with the Apple TV. So, yeah, on that hand, it's not good for gaming. I mean, I suppose you can pair controllers with it, but...
You can also...
I don't know. I'd rather get a console with a proper game library at that point. But, yeah, not good for gaming. You can't play DVDs or Blu-rays on it, which, honestly, if they came out with an Apple TV with a DVD player and Blu-ray player, as much as that would be against Apple's whole shtick of, no, we have to abandon old standards, although they did an amazing job with that on the latest MacBook Pros.
Or they could introduce a new... No, Apple wouldn't. I was just saying that Apple could some firm needs to invent some better standard for that's not
either
optimal.
a stick.
Yeah,
either a stick or, honestly, what I prefer, just make a flippin' TV at this point.
Same. I'd like Apple to do that too.
It's like, you can buy iPads, everything in one. iMacs, everything in one. Our iMacs, yeah, iMacs are pricey, yeah, but they include a solid package, so it's like, it's hard to argue the value. And it's like, why not just make a TV?
Exactly, but we've gone to this in our episodes and only have a few minutes left, so...
Yeah, so... I mean, it's cool that they're reducing the price, but I still think the strategy does need to change. If you want to sell a physical box, at least give me a DVD player or a Blu-ray player. I prefer a Blu-ray player because I have a lot of Blu-rays here at home, but at least do something with it that makes the box productive.
Exactly, but...
So,
shall I move on to the HomePod 2 rumors? HomePod Mini 2...
okay, I wanted to say, didn't we already have a HomePod 2?
Okay, HomePod Mini 2 rumors. Okay, forgot to add that one, but the HomePod Mini 2 is rumored to have an S9 chip of the Apple Watch Series 9, a red finish to be added, and the N1 chip.
I wonder if they're going to make any changes to sound quality.
They are rumored to possibly be doing that, but I'm not an audiophile, so of course...
I really don't think they need to change that much, because, I mean, I have one here at my desk, and I absolutely love it. I have a hard time finding fault with it. Yeah, it's a $99 small speaker, but, I mean, the sound that... I love Apple's sound signature so much, and it's also a bit why I'm concerned with AirPods Pro 3, because I hear they changed it, and to some audiophiles they made it worse.
One of my friends who's in...
I need to sample it.
One of my friends who's an audiophile and musician is actually getting AirPods Pro 3 after just getting AirPods Pro 2.
I'd like to know their opinion.
Yeah, I'll actually ask his opinion on that once they come in.
Because I have heard from some audiophiles that they increase the bass a little too much.
Yeah, and a lot of the music he listens to is country, so he would know. So he might know. So he would notice. So he would.
So yeah, that's good to know. Other than that, I have a hard time figuring out what they need to change with the speaker, other than, yeah, I'd like some more color options. I've always would have preferred they made a red rather than the orange, because the orange and the yellow felt too similar.
I'm fine with the orange and yellow being different, but yeah, the red... I would like to see a red and green, and personally a purple and pink.
Oh, those would be good colors too.
Have like an iPod Nano 4th and 5th generation color line above. But
Something like that. Either way, there's not really much else to say.
Which speaking of, they should do the color lamps on all their aluminum products like that.
Oh yeah, of course.
That would be the ideal dream. Just have all their colors of products be the same.
Oh, we forgot to mention that apparently iPhone Pro 17 Pros are turning orange. Or excuse me, pink.
What?
I'm seeing online. Apparently the orange iPhone 17 Pros are legit turning pink.
One of my teachers has an orange iPhone 17 Pro, so I'll have to see about that. This early? Oh my god. Oh my.
I don't even know what's causing it.
I mean, I know red, which is a component of orange, does fade over time, turn to pink, but not this soon.
They're cheaping out on their paint quality.
They truly are, which I'll mention in my review when I make that. But shall I move on to our final topic, and then we can close off?
Yes.
So this is going to be this is one should be self-explanatory, but Apple's glasses are rumored to have two modes: a lightweight mode when connected to your iPhone, and full vision OS when paired with a Mac. Which, I mean, smart glasses aren't that cool, which is why there's not really much to explain, as we've already explained that in other episodes. But
I mean, even then, I'm trying to figure out how does that make. I mean, from an outside perspective, yeah, the phone's not as powerful as the laptop, but at the same time, it's like, what are they going to do to make a lightweight OS and then, we have to transition to a full version?
that's not going to be the seamless Apple experience that Steve Jobs wanted, but
There's nothing seamless about that when you have to switch operating systems like that. Like, okay, switching from macOS to Windows using Boot Camp. Okay, yeah, that's not supposed to be seamless. That's because there's nothing seamless about Windows at all. There never has been, since 7 at least. I mean, it's another Microsoft rant. But no, especially when it comes between Apple's own operating systems. And this is a big reason why I've been against the whole macOS on iPad thing. Just put macOS on it or have the option to dual boot. There's nothing seamless about that transition.
no.
At all. And so, I mean, I don't know how Apple's vision lineup is going to do as a whole in the near-term future. I mean, yes, they updated Vision Pro recently, but based off of what I'm seeing in terms of the tech community's interest,
And also the fact that no one even talked about it for a day. It's not like I didn't even know about it.
yeah, he completely missed it. He had no idea that happened. And so, honestly, I think Vision OS's future is looking really grim unless Apple decides to really do something about it. But I don't know. The future of Vision OS and those types of products that it would be running in general, that future is looking pretty grim at this point.
Exactly. But in other news, we're out of time. So shall we conclude the show?
Yeah, we're out of topics and we're out of time, and I have not had anything for dinner today,
And
so
I also
would
have to
really like to remedy
And
that
I
situation.
also have to empty my bladder. So as always, I'm Teddy Magger from the
That's a
iTunes.
good point.
As always, I'm Teddy Magger from the iTunes fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we're saying peace out for
Why
now.
am I still using that title?
Now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode.